everybody, this is Michael Rainey with Gluent. We're here at the Social Media Lounge for ODTUG, and I'm here to interview Mark Rittman. So Mark, what have you been doing these days?
Hello Mike, so I'm Mark Rittman. I've been working outside the Oracle world for the last couple of years, back in it now though, fairly soon. I've been working for an internet startup in London, working with kind of data lakes and working with big data and all that kind of like new interesting technology.
Excellent, yeah. So today that's the new interesting technology is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
So Oracle Analytics Cloud Data Lake Edition, did I get that right?
Yeah, you did indeed, yeah.
So that you have a presentation on that this week.
Yeah.
And you've been doing some work there. So one of the things, I saw you wrote a couple blog posts about it as well, and one of the things you put in there was that BI developers are now doing data engineering, or turning into data engineers essentially. So can you kind of explain how that works? Is that like somebody who's a BI developer now needs to start learning ETL, or what's going on there?
Yeah, so the background to it really was that I saw the new Data Lake Edition coming out, and I thought that looks interesting because it's unusual to have a version of Oracle Analytics Cloud named for a particular kind of function.
Right.
And that particular function was something I've been doing a lot of recently. And as you say, a lot of what we would consider to be kind of BI development work and I suppose ETL development work and DBA development work in the kind of world that I've been working in has been more what we might call now data engineering. And generally using, I suppose, kind of using some of the techniques and some of the thinking we used to do, but within a kind of big data environment. And so I thought it'd be interesting to see how this new product looked and how some of the people coming along to the event and actually to the talk could try and transition some of their skills and try and adopt some of these new techniques with this new release. Okay,
very good. And I saw that, so there's a data engineering aspect to this tool. So something called data flows, is that right? Is that, I mean, typically in analytics tools, there's some sort of data wrangling or data, a little bit of data consolidation or transformation. Is this sort of like that, kind of a lightweight?
It is. It's slightly stretching the point a little bit in that a lot of what I would consider to be the data engineering tasks associated with a big data object store cloud with this presentation and this kind of, I suppose, example are being done outside of the tool in using things like Event Hub Cloud and so on. But yeah, you've got these new data wrangling, data preparation features in OEC Data Lake Edition. It means you can do some basic transformation, do some basic kind of like enrichment of the data. The other thing I was interested in was whether or not this was going to be a replacement for the old Big Data Discovery product, and to see how it relates to that really.
And so you're not necessarily getting in there and writing hardcore Python, PySpark, or anything like that?
No. I mean, I'm taking data engineering as not so much kind of specifically writing code, but actually, I suppose, preparing and presenting data at scale to users so that they can then do analysis on it and so on, really.
Okay. And then there's something you mentioned in your blog about a product called Sparkline. And that was recently acquired by Oracle. So how does that fit in, and where do you see that going?
Well, I actually came across Sparkline a little while ago when I was looking at guests for the podcast I do. And I'd heard about, they've got quite an interesting product that struck me as very similar in goal to what we used to have with Oracle BI and the BI server, creating a dimensional model over kind of, in this case, data lake data. And so where I think OAC Data Lake Edition is going to go is that I can imagine they would start to incorporate some of the technology from this acquisition so that they can create an analysis environment over your data lake that then is consumable by OAC Data Lake Edition, all the kind of like the reports and the graphs and the tables and so on. So I think where we are now with the Data Lake Edition is very much stage one and more about getting something out there that we can then start to iterate on, really. Sort of the standard for cloud products these days, get something out there and then start to learn more about it, how people use it. That's a generous way of putting it,
So reading through your blog post, you had a couple of different data sets you were working with. One was your Strava cycling stats, and you had another. What was the other one? It was
social media. And there's also my famous kind of like my house is completely covered in sensors and so on. And because I want to try and sort of use that as a kind of a real-time streaming IoT data source.
Right.
And so I bring in data via, in this case, Kafka. Bring it into the data lake, and then land it into Object Store and then Hive, and then analyze it using Data Lake Edition.
Okay. So for those of us who don't have a fully automated smart house and all of that, what would you do as far as recommending an interesting data set to work with? If I wanted to go out and just try this out, what's your approach besides using all of that data? What would you recommend?
One nice form of real-time data you can bring in is if you've got like a Fitbit like this, you can connect this to IFTTT, for example, which is a if this then this service that captures the events from here.
Okay.
You could also connect it to a service called Human API as well, that will take this data and it will real-time then stream all of the steps you take, all of the activities you do. And you can capture that then again using, say, Kafka or something, bring that in and then land that into Data Lake Edition. And so that's a data set that is kind of self-generating, because as soon as you walk around and do stuff, you can then bring the data in. It's of interest to you as well. If you've got other family members that have also got these things, or friends, you can connect theirs to it as well and start to compare the fitness patterns of kind of like you and your kids and all that kind of stuff. And it's a sort of thing that it actually, when you do it, it's interesting. It's data that is arriving in real time, and you've got a lot of things you can do with it to kind of see and try and correlate maybe sleep patterns with your exercise patterns to see, and weight, for example, as well.
Right.
And so it's kind of an interesting way to work this, really.
Yeah, and it's something, like you said, lots of people they're wearing something that's tracking their movement.
Well, the Apple Watch is kind of harder because it's not quite as easy to get the data out of there, but there's a couple of apps out there that will do that, but generally Fitbit is a quite good one to do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the usual sort of real-time data feed you always think about is something like Twitter. So it's nice
Twitter,
to get.
If I see any more presentations on people doing Twitter analysis, then it will be But certainly things like data from there. You can bring in. I also bring in things like weather data as well, correlating weather data with this, and it's just interesting to sort of see. For example, if you do a lot of exercise 1 month, does that then correspond later on to kind of weight gain or weight loss or whatever, that sort of thing. But you can do that, or if you go and get a trial of OAC from Oracle website, then you can just do this yourself, and in a month you can get this kind of thing set up, and then you can start to get some, start to get some of these data engineering skills, these kind of big data skills, quite easily with the tools that are out there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, interesting.
Okay.
So one final question for you.
Yeah.
World Cup starts this week, right?
Yeah.
Will England make it out of the group stage this year?
England will, We've kind of hit the low point now with England, and we are going to beat Germany in the final.
Okay.
And it will be another 4-2 victory this year. In fact, so
you heard it here first.
But it's I think expectations for England now are so low that I think I think a win would be. I think a win would be good. But saying that, I'm actually also a Tottenham supporter, and as the England team is largely a Tottenham team now, with the world's greatest striker, Harry Kane, playing for us now, then I do think that we're going to win it quite easily, and it will be kind of the start of a new era in English domination of the World Cup.
Well, my team is in the alternate World Cup.
The US not in it? They're not in it? Right, yes.
US, Italy,
and Italy
France.
as well. Yeah.
So we're in the alternate World Cup.
Okay, Okay. All right, yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mark. That was great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.